Hello? Is this thing on? Um, uh, uh, so welcome to the Above It All program. I'm wearing a blanket, because it's fucking cold. Does anyone know, like, what happened to fucking spring and what happened to autumn? Or fall, for those fall enthusiasts. Did they just disappear? Like, it was summer, like 2 weeks ago. It was like blistering heat. I was sweating so much that I would wake up in like a fucking pool. Like, all of a sudden I just have a water bed. And now I'm freezing. Like, what happened to this little spot? There's supposed to be a month or two where like the temperature is not fucking insane and crazy and fucking stupid. What happened to that? Does anyone know? Like, can we find it? Is it gone forever? Are we going to have spring next year? Are we going to have autumn next year? Like, do we already have our last spring and we just didn't even know it? We couldn't even appreciate it? Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, So Max, what's your opinion on all the things going on in the world today? Do you know? Do you have any hot takes for us, Max? You got anything? No comment? Oh. What? Ah! I want to start this program by really understanding and dissecting the way that the mainstream media is covering up the COVID-19 pandemic, which is, of course, I have to say, still happening. If you believe that the COVID-19 pandemic magically disappeared, then you also might believe that Israel are defending themselves in Gaza. You're a dumbass. You're a stupid fucking idiot. You fall for propaganda because you're a sheep, you're a dummy, you're a stupid fuck, and you don't know how to read, presumably, or at least comprehend. Maybe you can read, like, individual words, but comprehension, not quite your forte. Perhaps I don't know, you got sick once, and so you think you're immune forever or something. I don't know. But I want to talk about how the media is engaging in this cover-up, and again, the media directs what people think. We might think, oh, we live in a country, the United States, where the media has like, what, a 10% approval rating, a 20% approval rating? Right? If you ask most people, what do you think of the media? They'll be like, I hate the media. Goddamn. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Right? They're going to be like that. And yet, when you ask them when COVID magically disappeared, because magic is real and Harry Potter came off of the mountain and waved his magic wand and let there be no more COVID, they made a deal with Joe Biden, you ask them that and they'll go like, well, the media told me that COVID was gone. Wait, so the same country where if you do a poll, do you trust the media? They're going to get like 80% no. But on COVID, the largest public health crisis of our entire lifetimes, they're all like, yeah, the media wouldn't tell me the wrong thing. I love the media. When has the media ever lied? I can't even wrap my mind. You're telling me that ABC News would lie? No, that's not possible. And then like 5 minutes later, they're going to go, well, the media is goddamn irresponsible. Again, Americans are incoherent, stupid fucking morons. And this applies to left-wingers. This applies to all your favorite left-wing shows. On YouTube, on Twitch.television, all these protest and union organizers and strike people that are not engaging in safe protocol when it comes to mass crowds during an airborne pandemic. As much as it's a great thing to show solidarity for Palestine during an ongoing genocide of children, and obviously adults don't deserve to be genocided either. Maybe, and just think about it, maybe getting a permanently disabling virus at your solidarity demonstration, like, let's be honest, think about this, right? And I'm going to get into an article in a second here to show just how fucked the media is on COVID, but this is my preamble. Think about this. What does a solidarity demonstration in New York City do for the people in Gaza? Just think about it. What does it do? It raises public awareness. At best. That is the best case scenario, right? So I ask you this question. Is it worth it to sacrifice your health for the rest of your one and only life? God is not real. There is no afterlife. Jesus isn't real. Allah's not real. Yahweh is not real. All of these stupid fucking magical fairies, they're all made up. You have like some sort of schizophrenia off branch of some kind, right? Is it worth it? Really think about it. Like, to risk getting a permanently disabling virus to raise public awareness about an issue in a country where 90% of people, I think the latest poll I saw was like 91% of Americans, support Israel in this conflict, as it's called, in this war, even though it's very asymmetrical, right? I'm just curious. I'm just food for thought, right? And I'm not saying don't protest. Why would I say that? I love protesting, right? But we can protest in an intelligent fashion. We can, I don't know, wear masks during a fucking airborne pandemic? Is that possible? Can we consider such a fucking thing? Instead of spending money on fucking flyers that no one fucking looks at, or fucking stupid fucking people traveling across the country to protest. You never see these professional protesters, by the way, and they travel across the country to go to protest. I'm not saying that that's terrible, but I'm saying maybe instead of spending $500 on a bus to get up to fucking wherever the fuck, maybe you can spend $500 on high quality N95 or P100 masks, right? That's all I'm saying, right? We are going through an airborne pandemic, right? A genocide, right? I've been using this word. Genocide is in the news a lot. We have been living through a genocide of the sick, the elderly, right? Disabled people, poor people, right? Who, out of all in the United States, who is at the highest risk race-wise? Look at this. Look at my white-ass skin. Yes, that's right. I am white, and I am living my life at home. Probably, in part, because I'm white. I don't know. It's possible, right? You know, if you're not white, there's a good chance that maybe you're in a worse position economically from the starting point. Why? I don't know. We've had fucking slavery in this country. We didn't give former slaves anything. In fact, we stole all their shit when they even tried. We burned down their shit when they even tried to start giving generational wealth to their families, right? So people of certain kinds of skin colors are more likely to develop and or more likely to be infected with COVID. Why? Because they're more likely to work in service industry jobs. They're more likely to, live in apartment complexes or some sort of thing where airborne pandemic transmission is a lot easy. If you have to go to an indoor apartment hallway or whatever to get to your place, and a lot of apartment buildings have, ventilation systems where it's like everyone in the building is going to get COVID anyway, right? So we're talking about this, as a race issue, as a class issue. Poor people are more likely to get infected and die from this pandemic. So where is the left on the pandemic? Well, they said, fuck it. Donald Trump was right. The Heritage Foundation, I agree with the Heritage Foundation. That's what Majority Report is saying. When it comes to COVID, the Heritage Foundation is exactly correct. Now let's go to VidCon, right? So I'm asking you, why on earth are leftists in this world somehow upset about a genocide in Palestine? Now, again, I agree, you should be outraged by this, but when it comes to a genocide of the poor, right, when it comes to the genocide of the elderly, when it comes to the genocide of the sick that we've been going through for the last 4 years, oh, I'm tired. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. And I'm supposed to believe that your Solidarity Palestine march is somehow like that's like really, oh wow, that's going to shake up the whole fucking political conversation. Now, again, am I saying that it's not, you shouldn't protest? No, I'm saying you should protest effectively, wear a mask. I should also say, I shouldn't have to, but I'm going to point it out anyway, in case you're fucking so stupid that you don't even understand the fucking implications of COVID. And again, I'm going to get into that in a moment, that you don't want to wear a mask during an airborne pandemic. But also, when you don't wear a mask to a protest, like in support of Palestine, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get fucking doxxed. The cops are going to come to your house. You might even get arrested. So I'm just throwing it out there, like, how dumb is the average left-winger? I would assume somewhere in the realm of the average MAGA voter, right? There have been studies that have come out back onto the race issue. There have been studies that have come out that said white people fare the best when it comes to COVID presumably because of economic status, right? Like I said, non-white people, especially like children of immigrants, more likely to work in service industry jobs where they're facing a lot of people. They have to deal with a lot of people, rampant infection. So they're more likely to get infected. They're more likely to get infected multiple times, which again is more likely to result in death or severe permanent disability, right? So I'm just asking, like, if you don't wear a mask during literally any time you leave the house, wouldn't that make you racist? I mean, effectively, actionably, isn't that a racist behavior? If you know for a fact that non-white people are at a higher risk of death and infection from a virus, and you are a white person and you choose, well, the pandemic's over, let's go to VidCon. I mean, actionably speaking, that is racist. It's also eugenicist. It's also genocidal. Again, we have about 500 million people on the entire planet. Now, you might not know this, right? But that's a significant percentage of people, right? We have about, 8 billion motherfuckers on this goddamn shithole? About 500 million motherfuckers on this goddamn shithole have developed a permanent disability because of the airborne pandemic that is now going to reach its worst winter yet, and we have no tracking mechanisms. People are not reporting tests. No one knows what the fuck's going on. Everyone's living in La La Land. And then this slides right in to this fucking shithole thing that I'm about to show you. Hold the phone. Okay. Excessive drinking. This is from ABC News. Excessive drinking during the pandemic increased rates of liver disease and transplants. Now, again, what the fuck is this first of all, excessive drinking during the pandemic, right? Now, during the pandemic could be a present tense phrase. During the pandemic, I am taking it very seriously and not leaving the house, right? So during the pandemic, I don't really have a problem with that phrase necessarily, but it's the increase ed. Now, again, for those of you that don't understand English, ed is a past tense phrase. I walk Ed to the grocery store yesterday. There you go. Past tense. The pandemic is still going. It's still ongoing. It's probably going to be a 10-year pandemic looking at the fact that we didn't do anything and now we're pretending like it's over. It's probably going to be here for at least 10 to 15 years, if not forever, because dumb motherfuckers like to kill themselves for the sake of going to fucking Beyonce or whatever the fuck stupid in vogue concert performer is out there killing their own fan base, right? Now, again, the fucking, the really fucked up part about this kind of stuff is that, like, what the fuck? Excessive drinking during the pandemic, right? What does that mean, excessive drinking during the pandemic? What does that mean, right? Did alcohol sales skyrocket in 2020? Was it like everyone's getting drunk every day during lockdown? We're all getting drunk, right? Well, let's find out. I have this article here from IARD. Which says alcohol sales declined by 6% globally during the pandemic, May 21. Now again, right, during the pandemic, okay, it is a little bit past tense, but it's also showing alcohol sales declined 6% globally during the pandemic. So if both of these sources are going to use during the pandemic as past tense, ABC News is saying excessive drinking during the pandemic increased rates of liver disease. This other side is saying that actually it's all gone down. I have a chart here. You can see per country, some of the quote-unquote major countries, at least the countries that track this data. Now, in the USA, to be fair, we stayed about the same. Now, if you're living in Australia, maybe the ABC News article can apply to you. But in the United States of America, we stayed about the same, minus 0.6%, okay? So I'm just going to say, if you're going to have a headline that says excessive drinking during the pandemic, past tense, increased rates of liver disease and transplants, wouldn't it make sense that you would expect there to be a large amount of increased drinking and not, I don't know, a motherfucking decrease? Now again, we can say it's negligible. It's within the margin of error. But again, wouldn't excessive, right, imply that you're purchasing more alcohol? How are you going to drink excessively and purchase less alcohol? Now, that all understood, right? Of course, that is on a population level, total population level markers. Are there some groups of people that drank a lot more during the first year of the pandemic, or maybe even the second year of the pandemic. We are currently on year 4 of the pandemic, soon to be year 5, coming up shortly. 5 years of this fucking shit, but that's a whole different story. We'll save that. So now, again, are there some pockets of people that maybe had a predisposition to alcoholism, but like what was keeping them away from it was like their daily routine, and then their daily routine was shattered, and then they took up drinking, blah, blah, blah. Yes, that's going to be a thing. Yes. Now, the elephant in the room, motherfucker, right? The thing that these fucking articles aren't talking about, excessive drinking. I'm just going to skim this real quick. Because, I got the, I got the curveball, the twist ending to this. It actually has almost nothing to do with alcohol. In fact, it's COVID. But again, hold the phone on this one. Excessive drinking during the COVID-19 pandemic has led to skyrocketing rates of alcohol-associated liver disease to the point of needing transplants, according to doctors. Transplant centers across the United States are reporting more patients in need of a new liver than ever before, sometimes seeing double the numbers of patients needing transplants compared to pre-pandemic levels. In fact, alcohol-related liver disease has surpassed other conditions, such as hepatitis C and fatty liver disease. Now, just to be clear, fatty liver disease is an alcohol-related liver disease. It can also be produced from eating a lot of sugar, from eating a lot of drinking a lot of soda, candy, all that kind of stuff. That can lead to fatty liver. So it's not just alcohol, but the idea that they're going to say alcohol related liver disease compared to fatty liver is something that can happen as a result of alcohol. But hey, whatever, let's just ignore that part for now. As the number one reason for liver transplants, the demographics have also changed. Historically, patients needing liver transplants were older men in their 60s. Now, patients needing transplants are often in their 20s and 30s. Now, again, I'm just going to tell you, okay, is it possible that you are so fucking fucked and you're an alcoholic? And I'm not saying this to be I have had extreme problems with alcohol in my life in my early 20s. I had extreme issues with alcohol. I almost killed myself several times because of that shit. So it is possible. I have been there, right? But I just want to say, on a population level, right? Again, especially during the mass, amounts of states legalizing marijuana at the same time, are young people in their 20s and 30s really becoming alcoholics out of nowhere? Is this really happening? Like, someone was inside playing fucking MMOs for 2 weeks and that made them becoming an alcoholic? Really? Really? You want me to believe that? Really? Like, again, these dumb motherfuckers, right? Dumb-ass motherfucking fuckers. Doctors told ABC News this year yet another unintended consequence of the COVID pandemic, and that they hope to reduce the stigma so patients can feel supported in getting help they need. So again, are there certain populations and pockets of the country or the world where people took on higher rates of alcohol consumption? Probably, yes. But that does not in any fucking way, shape, or form explain why people in their 20s and 30s, now again, just to be clear, what I was saying earlier, I kind of lost my train of thought. I'm drinking a lot of coffee today. Bear the fuck with me. If you're an alcoholic, right, you have to be drinking a metric motherfucking shit ton of alcohol on like a nearly daily basis in order to need a liver transplant in your 20s. I'm just saying, I'm just going to be honest with everybody. The reason why historically patients needing liver transplants were older men in their 60s is because they had lived 50 to 60 years. Maybe I guess you could say that not everyone started drinking when they were fucking 5. Some people did, right? They spent 40 years consuming excess rates of alcohol, right? So I'm just saying, how the fuck do you consume 40 years worth of alcoholic amounts of alcohol and then in like 5 to 10 years in your 20s? How are you getting the same diseases in your 20s that people 5 years ago were getting in their 60s? How is that possible? Really? Did they change the formula for alcohol? What else explains it? Wait a second, everybody. Hold the motherfucking phone. Here we have a study that has basically told us, oh, wait, you know that organ-damaging virus? The virus that hijacks your fucking bloodstream, gets to every organ in your body, and destroys every organ in your body. It turns out, we didn't know this. This is new science. The liver is an organ. No one knew that before. I guess. I don't know. So the organ-destroying virus also destroys the organ known as the liver. Whoa, holy shit fuck. Right, so let's read this. Unraveling the molecular and cellular pathogenesis of the COVID-19 associated liver injury. I'm going to take a sip of coffee because that's going to make things a little bit better. The coronavirus disease 2019 pandemic caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus SARS-CoV-2 continues to cause substantial morbidity, I am so sorry, and mortality. Most infections are mild. However, now again, the most infections are mild. That is a little bit of a misnomer, but I'm going, let's see what else they got to say, and then I'll fill it in. I've already read this, by the way, but most infections are mild. However, some patients experience severe and potentially fatal systemic inflammation, tissue damage, cytokine storm, and acute respiratory distress syndrome. Patients with chronic liver disease have been frequently affected, experiencing high morbidity and mortality. I got a little bit of like the acid burps, when you drink coffee too fast and you go like, you ever see that? You ever do that? I don't know. That's what I'm doing right now. Where the fuck was I? In addition, elevated liver enzymes may be a risk factor for disease progression, even in the absence of underlying liver disease. So what's happening here, right? This is like, imagine, right? We got 5 cups of water, right? And each cup is filled with water to a different degree, right? But the counter, right, top, whatever surface that the 5 glasses of water, is sitting on is like connected to like a fucking saw trap. I've been watching the Saw movies. It's Halloween, right? And as soon as as soon as any glass overflows, the water is going to drip down the side of the glass, activate the trap, and everyone dies, right? Or like at least the glass that overflowed dies, right? Like I'm just, just come up with a, fun little way to explain this for you, right? So again, everyone starts off at a different position. In 2019, 88% of Americans had metabolic dysfunction. What is one of the number one symptoms of metabolic dysfunction? Liver damage, fatty liver, just general lack of healthy liver. You might not have a necessarily diseased liver, right? But you're on the precipice of a diseased liver. That was 88%, not 8.8. I did not misspeak. You can look it up. 88% of Americans in 2019 had metabolic dysfunction, which leads to liver issues, right? Now, by the way, during the pandemic, the number has increased to 93%, right? So again, imagine we got the glasses of motherfucking water, right? So then COVID-19 infects everyone because Joe Biden told you the pandemic was over and you believed him, even though if a fucking pollster calls you, you'd say, hell no, I don't believe the government. Hell no, I don't believe the media. But when it comes to COVID, it's like, well, yeah, let me infect myself with a deadly disease as many times as you want me to, daddy. Can I suck your dick, daddy? Yes, please, right? So again, now imagine the glasses of water. COVID comes along and it pours water in all the motherfucking glasses, right? So you might have been fine if you didn't get infected with COVID 17 times to go to Applebee's or to go to Taylor Swift or to go to Barbie or some other stupid fucking movie you're watching that's not worth risking your entire life. You might have been fucking fine, but for the fact that COVID fucked your shit up, right? So again, now imagine the COVID-19 virus basically pours water in every glass, and the glasses that had the most water, right, to begin with, right, overflow, activating the saw trap, boom, you got fucking liver disease. Now you're either dead or you're gonna need a liver transplant to be more, back to the source material here. Right? That's what's going on. That's what's fucking going on, you stupid motherfuckers. It's not excess fucking drinking. How the fuck are 20-year-olds needing liver transplants? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Motherfucker, that is insane. And also, by the way, it's not just the drinking. It's the motherfucking diet. It's the food. What does sugar do? Fructose. What does sugar do? Candy, soda, fucking anything that has sugar in it. What does it do? It fucks your liver. It fucks your liver. I've been saying this on my show for fucking 4 years now. It fucks your liver. Sugar fucks your liver. If you drink soda every day, your liver's getting fucked. If you drink coffee with sugar in it, you're a fucking moron, on top of having bad taste, on top of not knowing what good coffee tastes like, on top of just being a all-around fucking moron who puts fucking sugar in their coffee. Fucking psychopaths like Patrick Bateman from American Psycho type motherfuckers put sugar in coffee, right? So if you drink coffee every day and you drink your latte, your Starbucks, Starbucks Frappuccino Alfredo bullshit, whatever the fuck, right? You know what you're doing? You're fucking your liver. Now again, 88% of Americans had metabolic dysfunction, presumably from sugar consumption. That is the number one link. Right? So again, imagine everyone's got a little bit of liver damage, and then COVID comes along and fucks your shit up and then pours the glass of water overflow. Let's keep reading into this, just so you understand exactly, what's going on here. When it comes to the liver. In addition, elevated liver, I already read that, has become evident that COVID-19 is a multi-systemic infectious disease. Now again, what I've been saying on my show, it hijacks your motherfucking bloodstream and can enter every organ in your body. COVID-19 has been found in the brain. It fuses brain cells together, which makes neurons unable to fire, which results in brain damage. Teenagers, not even in their 20s, but in their teens, have been getting diagnosed with early onset dementia. Is that because of excess drinking? 16 and 17-year-olds getting early onset dementia, is that excess drinking? I don't know. If you ask ABC, they might say so. If you ask Majority Report, they might say so. If you ask any one of these left-wing news shows on YouTube that are ostensibly supposed to be the good guys fighting for solidarity for everyone, but if you're old, nah, they don't give a shit about you. If you're disabled, nah, they don't give a fucking shit about you. If you got an autoimmune disease, they don't give a fuck about you. They gotta go to VidCon because it's all about the cash money and the clout and the status. I gotta interview a politician at VidCon. It doesn't matter if I'm fucking my own body up. It doesn't matter if I'm risking my kids' health. It doesn't matter if I'm lying and manipulating my audience to believe that COVID is magic or magic is real and created a situation where COVID magically disappeared. It doesn't matter. I gotta go interview a politician at VidCon. I'm talking about Emma Vigeland, by the way. No idea what the fuck she was thinking. Never seen a single excuse for that behavior. Why? Because they just think it's normal that the pandemic is over. The largest left-wing news show on YouTube is in full-on pandemic denial mode, and so I'm going to continue calling them out until they at least, acknowledge that in some degree, or someone calls into their show and says, like, what the fuck are you thinking? Anyway, sorry, I'm going on tangents here. As you can see, I'm on not my first cup of coffee this morning. All right, I know I keep interrupting myself. The hepatobiliary system might be influenced during COVID-19 infection, ranging from a mild elevation of aminotransferase to the development of autoimmune hepatitis and secondary sclerosing cholangitis. Now, I would be lying to you if I told you what a lot of these words mean, but guess what? The thing about reading medical papers, you don't need to know what every single fucking medical term means. You just read, and eventually you figure out, like, oh, what does angitis mean? What is that? Oh, it's an infection of some kind, right? You pick up on this kind of stuff. It could be wrong, by the way. Just not a doctor. I dropped out of high school. I just know how to read and comprehend the things that I read, which I guess they don't teach you in high school, because I don't think most people drop out of high school like I did. So I guess maybe in like the 11th and 12th grade, they just like they stop teaching you how to read, and they tell you to stop they do like anti-comprehension courses. Maybe I dropped out when I was in 10th grade. So it's like, who knows? Maybe 11th and 12th grade, they just teach you how to not comprehend words so that you're prepared for the workforce. I don't know. I'm just, hey. Where was I? Furthermore, the virus can promote existing chronic liver diseases to liver failure. So this is what I was saying with the water bullshit example that I came up with like a fucking moron, right? Is that you may have been on the precipice of liver failure, and you may have been able to return to liver functioning if you would have gotten your shit together. Now it's possible you wouldn't have gotten your shit together, and it would have just happened a year later, 2 years later, whatever, right? But if you're on the precipice of liver failure, and then you get infected with COVID 38,000 fucking times because you wanted to go see Taylor Swift, right? But don't worry, it's totally not COVID that, has been directly mechanistically linked to liver failure. It's totally not that because what is it? Oh, yeah, it's excess drinking. In the same years where alcohol rates either stayed the same or declined, it's excess drinking. Yeah, that's right. Totally not the virus that has been documented to destroy the liver. It's that thing that less people did. Actually, yeah. And this is how mainstream media manipulates you into acting like a stupid motherfucker. This is how mainstream media manipulates you into going to the movie theaters without a mask on, going to demonstrations without a mask on, going to protests without a mask on, going to VidCon to go see your favorite left-wing news show host without a mask on. Why? Because you're a fucking moron and you don't know how to fucking comprehend the words that you read, and everyone around you is gaslighting you into believing you live in La La Land. But hey, we live in a country where 70% of people in this stupid fucking country believe in angels. They believe in angels. Motherfuckers in this country believe in fairies with wings in the sky that are looking over them. So it's no fucking goddamn shock and surprise that those same dumb motherfucking fuckers also believe that, like, Harry Potter came off the mountain and said, COVID, what? And then it just disappeared, you know? So, hey, I mean, what? Should we be shocked? Or is I don't know. I can't tell you. Where was I? Liver diseases to liver failure and to activate the autoimmune liver disease. Whether the direct cytopathic effects of the virus, host reaction, hypoxia, drugs, vaccination, or all these risk factors cause liver injury effects of the virus, host reaction, I fucking motherfuck, my fucking brain is on fucking crack right now. Also known as caffeine, also known as coffee. Without sugar. This is how I make it through these shows. I just do a lot of drugs and hope for the best. Effects of the virus, host reaction, hypoxia, drugs, vaccination, or all these risk factors cause liver injury has not been clarified to a large extent in COVID-19. The review article discussed the molecular and cellular mechanisms involved in the pathogenesis of SARS-CoV-2 virus-associated liver injury and highlighting the emerging role of liver sinusoidal epithelial cells, LSECs, in a virus-related liver damage. So again, you don't need to be a fucking super genius to read this shit, but guess what? Even if you knew what all these words mean, you still might be a dumbass, because there's plenty of doctors that don't believe in COVID. They think that COVID is magic and disappeared. You know, I went to the fucking doctor's office like 3 months ago, and no one was wearing a mask the entire fucking time. So doctors can be fucking stupid. You don't need to know what these words mean to comprehend the overall fucking understanding of this whole thing. Guess what? COVID destroys every organ in your fucking body, not just your lungs. It enters through your lungs. Why? Because guess where the lungs are? I tried to like do a deep breath like without exhaling, and that kind of hurt a little bit. I'm sorry to my lungs. I apologize. Right? When you breathe, right, and when you get infected with the virus, right? How are you likely to get infected? Right? And then where does that go? To your lungs. And that's what leads to this. You ever hear this? You ever go outside at any point in time and are around another human or yourself, if you're a dumbass and you got COVID 30 times, and you just hear this as the background soundtrack? Anytime I leave the house going on a walk, right? Anytime I go through a walk in like a suburb, a random suburb, and people are walking their dogs, guess what? If I go to the pharmacy, guess what? If I go to the grocery store, guess what? And it's not just one or two people. It's not just randomly once or twice. It's literally like a fucking soundtrack, right? But we're supposed to believe COVID is magic and it just magically disappeared, right? So again, articles like this and dumb fuck left-wing news shows like the Majority Report lie to people. It's not just the MAGAs that believe that COVID is magic. But again, the mainstream leftist thought from Bernie Sanders all the way down to DSA, all the way down to any one of these left-wing organizations, any one of these left-wing news shows, any left-wing activists, the mainstream thought in the left is COVID is magic, it's magic, and disease apartheid is great. Now, they might be against apartheid in Israel, but when it comes to disease apartheid globally, they're great. They love it. People being so sick they can't get out of their bed? Hell yeah. I'm a leftist. I support people getting sick. I support people dying early. I support people getting or needing liver transplants in their 20s. I support that. I'm a leftist. I love eugenics. That's the average mainstream leftist thought in this fucking country, on this fucking globe. Why? Because all of the people that people look to for news and information have abandoned them for clout, for careerist moves, and because honestly, who wants to talk about how COVID is still real and magic doesn't exist all day? No one wants to talk about it. Let's spend 5 fucking days straight talking about the House speakership thing when it's a predetermined outcome and none of it fucking matters, instead of talking about how COVID is an airborne fucking plague that is destroying and disabling millions and millions and millions and millions of motherfuckers. You know, again, last week I think I did, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, I don't fucking know. I did a segment about how school testing scores all across the nation dropped, just like that fucking Israeli rocket that destroyed the fucking hospital in Gaza. And if you're a fucking Majority Report fan, you have no answer for that. It's totally not COVID, because COVID is magic, and it disappeared. You know, Harry Potter came off the mountain and did this, and then COVID disappeared. So it's certainly not COVID. It has to be shut down, right? Why? Because guess what? Critical thinking is dead. In the left, it's dead, it's dying, it's gone. It's gone. It's fucking gone. Like, if you can be convinced to get infected with COVID 9,564 times because Joe Biden. Now imagine this. Imagine this. Joe Biden. If Bernie Sanders was going up there saying like COVID is over and blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, I still wouldn't believe him, but hey, whatever. But Joe Biden told you that COVID is over. Joe Biden told you to take your mask off. You believed Joe Biden? How fucking stupid. Like, again, I like, do we need to do like a fucking, like a brain scan on these left-wing news shows like Leftist Mafia, Majority Report, you know, Secular Talk, Breaking Points, if that counts, you know. Those motherfuckers are in their own whole other space. But hey, whatever, I'll just name drop them anyway. Why not? Fuck them, right? Like, you believe Joe Biden? Joe Biden! You made your whole careers off of shitting on the guy. And when it comes to the largest public health crisis of your lifetime, you believe him? Oh, boy. Like, I mean, again, like, I'm living in La La Land. This is some crazy ass shit to be alive in this fucking moment in human history. Like, I would have thought leftists that have spent decades talking about solidarity, decades, Medicare for all, Medicare for all, Medicare for all, we gotta be healthy, Medicare for all, woo, Medicare for all, yeah, Medicare for all, woo, right? And they didn't mean a fucking word of it. They don't give a shit about people's health. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. Because guess what? Talking about policy is abstract. Talking about, well, you know, the economic policy, we really shouldn't be doing that. That's abstract. That's not like something you have to do every day, right? That's not something like, well, you know, Medicare for all and the balance the budget and war is bad. And it's like, that's great. I'm glad you have good positions on that. But guess what? You know, thinking that the genocide in Palestine is bad, that doesn't really affect your day to day. But guess what? Believing that COVID is magic and disappeared, that does affect your day-to-day, because then you're going to go see Taylor Swift. Then you're going to be like Emma Vigeland, go to a wedding, a super spreader event, get COVID, and then go to VidCon, a super spreader event, infect everyone at VidCon because she's a fucking idiot, I guess. I don't fucking know. I haven't heard an excuse or an explanation. Why? Because they just believe COVID is magic and they don't even need to offer an excuse or an explanation, right? So, hey, what do I know? I don't fucking know. Is that going to get people to dislike me because I called out someone who's popular and almost every one of my fans watches these people? Maybe. I don't know. I've been doing it consistently, and yet still I haven't heard an excuse other than I believe Joe Biden. Joe Biden, you believe the guy who said he would veto Medicare for all. The guy who said he would veto Medicare for all. You believe him when it comes to your health and safety. Dumb fuck shit for brains. All of you, I have no problem saying that I pray. I don't believe in God, but hey, you do, apparently, right? So I have no problem saying that I pray for the best possible outcome. The only light at the end of this tunnel is the light that y'all chose. Y'all chose the genocide. Y'all chose eugenics. Y'all chose to wipe out anyone. 93% of Americans right now have the number one precursor to diabetes, which is metabolic dysfunction, right? And y'all chose to just let them die. And guess who's next? Yeah. Ooh, guess who's next in line? After the elderly are all dead, after you killed them all with your Beyonce, after the fucking sick and the disabled are all dead because you wanted to go to Taylor Swift 15,000 times and fly around the country to go to conventions, right? Who is next in line? Right? Again, liver transplants 20s and 30s. A nationwide phenomenon, apparently. Who's next in line? I know I'm not next in line. So that's my light at the end of the tunnel. And as much as that fucking sucks, that I just have to live through this genocide that no one even acknowledges. People are talking about how the Gaza genocide, not to downplay that, I'm going to do a whole fucking thing about that after this, is horrible. And they're talking about how I feel crazy because the government and everyone is saying that they stand with Israel. Look in a mirror, you stupid fuck. Look in a mirror, you dumb bitch. Because we've been here. We've been here. 500 million on this planet already permanently disabled. Now again, we only have 8 billion-ish motherfuckers, right? That's a hefty percentage. Can you hear that? Is that audible? Is that audible? I mean, you can't script this kind of stuff, y'all. I mean, this is some really excellent... Couple more times. I personally, some people, they don't like letting their dogs bark. I think that's bullshit. Manx is expressing himself. He has a lot to say. I agree. I love this dog. Anyway, I don't know where I was on that one, but I don't know. This is some fucked up shit. So the only thing I can think of for how to proceed is, again, we have 3 groups. They're in line, lambs to slaughter. The elderly, the sick and disabled, people with autoimmune disorders, right? And then the 93%, the normies, the 20s and 30s who have metabolic dysfunction. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to say, fuck you to those people. Those are the enemy. Those are the Israelis. People that go outside without wearing a mask, you're the Russians who are invading Ukraine. You're the Israelis invading Gaza and committing genocides. That's you. So I'm going to say, fuck you. And I'm going to try to help as many people in the first 2 groups as possible with my position. And so far, as of this Constitution, my position is this fucking YouTube channel, right? I want as many people in the first 2 groups to survive the genocide as possible. I don't care at all. I don't give a fuck about anyone else. So all these motherfuckers going to conventions, you got those speed run morons going to the fucking games done quick super spreaders, right? You got fucking the VidCon conventions for all you left-wing news show hosts that are going, gotta interview politicians, I gotta be a journalist, I gotta improve my career. Have fun. Enjoy. And, I'm going to go see what Max is barking at now, because he's been barking for a while. So anyway, that's all I got to say. Go fuck yourself. And then after you're done fucking yourself, I want you to... Maxie, did you get him? Maxie. Oh. He's got more important things to do, apparently. Oh, wait a second. He's got a tennis ball. Yeah. Holy motherfuck. Anyway, I started screaming a little bit during that previous segment. Maxie, come here. He's got fucking... You got stuffing in your mouth, buddy. Here. Yeah. Throw that away later. So I don't need the blanket anymore. Like, I was complaining about the seasonal change. I don't need the blanket anymore. I am warm. I am comfy. From my excess screaming and hyping myself up over stuff that I guess no one cares about. I don't know. Call me crazy. But just in conclusion about the COVID stuff. Like, yes, I am crazy. If that's what you want to believe, if you want to believe I'm crazy, all the science is fake science, fake news, I'd trust Joe Biden on my health and safety. Have fun. Enjoy it. Live your life. We could all be living our lives wearing masks during an airborne pandemic that could have ended multiple years ago if we would have all done what we were supposed to do when an airborne pandemic happens. We chose not to. And even leftist mainstream thought is fuck the disabled, fuck the elderly, fuck the sick, fuck the poor. It's a racist, eugenicist, classist genocide. And mainstream thought in the American left is in support. So a lot of people are going to be hand-wringing about Israel and Palestine. And if you support Israel, you're evil. But if you go to the grocery store without a mask on, you're also evil. And you might think that the comparison is fucked. But is it really? Is it really? I mean, again, 500 million, for those of you at home that don't know what that is, 500 million so far documented. And that, again, there's a lot of countries that don't even document or record this stuff. So that's another factor. 500 million motherfuckers on planet Earth currently sick with a permanent, as of this constitution, we don't have a cure for long COVID, right? With a, as of this moment, permanent injury, not to their lungs, not just to the lungs, I should say, but to their brain. Teenagers being diagnosed with early onset dementia. 20-year-olds needing liver transplants. 20-year-olds having random heart attacks. Kids are having... Did you know that there is a, dare I say, pandemic, maybe an epidemic in this instance, of children, teenagers in some instances, but mostly children, dying in gym class? Have you been reading any of this stuff about kids just dropping dead in kickball? 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds dropping dead playing kickball at gym class? So, is it really evil? Maybe. I don't know. It's a different kind of evil. But it's definitely evil. Because it's one thing if you go to a Taylor Swift show. Everyone going to a Taylor Swift show, fuck them. Fuck them. Praying for the best possible outcome, which is they get sick as soon as possible, they stay at home, and they don't kill anyone else. But when you go to the grocery store, who needs to go to the grocery store? Sick people, disabled people, elderly people, also known as fucking everybody. So when you go to a place like a pharmacy, a hospital, a grocery store, what you're doing is every time you do that without a mask on, you are killing people. You are participating in a genocide. So I don't know what to tell you. That's evil. That's evil. Evil. And I'm supposed to, this is, I've gotten a lot of pushback on it. I'm supposed to believe that somehow this is the special exclusion. This genocide is the one that you're supposed to support. Right? As a left-winger, as someone who believes in the tenets of communism as an aspirational goal, this is the one we're supposed to support. What? I thought we were against genocide. I thought that was the whole thing about leftism. I thought that was the whole thing about communism. Genocide is bad. Not this one. Not this one. This genocide is great if you're a left-winger. If you got a left-wing news show, you can get a lot of subscribers and money going to these conventions. And you know what's even more valuable than money and subscribers? The parasocial entrenchment of the audience that goes to that convention, gets a permanently disabling disease just to see their favorite YouTuber. That's what's even more valuable to these people, is not just the raw numbers of viewers, not just how much money they're getting, but how addicted to the experience people are. Right now, again, I know a lot of people in my audience watch Majority Report every day. Some people might watch it immediately after they watch this. Right? And now I'm not saying you have to unsubscribe from them. I watch their stuff sometimes. The only thing I can stand on that channel at this point is Sam Cedar interviewing people about books. That's all I can watch. Because every time I watch the fun half thing about that show, it's during COVID, back during COVID, let's go to VidCon, COVID's over, right? because they live in La La Land. That's not a source of information. It's a source of disinformation, so why would I watch it? Right? But I know a lot of people are addicted to the Community. And so I ask you this. Call in their show. Ask them, what the fuck are you doing? Maybe don't be as abrasive as I am. That turns people off. But just ask them. Ask Emma Vigeland. Can someone ask Emma Vigeland why she got COVID, went to a wedding, gave everyone COVID, went to a convention, gave everyone there. Now, am I saying Emma was the sole vector? No, I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, if you are knowingly COVID positive, if you know for a fact you have COVID, why the fuck would you go to a wedding? Why the fuck would you go to a convention? Because your career is more important than not just your health and safety. If you want to kill yourself, hey, whatever. If you want to go to Taylor Swift and you think that's worth sacrificing, 20 years off the end of your lifespan for, whatever. But think of the people that you're manipulating. Because again, I need you to understand, Americans and people are stupid, right? And they will trust people. And again, I trusted the Majority Report as a news source, a relatively mild, maybe left of center news source, but a news source. And I can't really trust them as a news source. Why? Because they're participating in the COVID cover-up. So what good is that entire ecosystem? I don't know. So, I mean, to me, it's not worth sitting on the phone on that show, because they love to do the phone call thing where they take 2 phone calls, and if you want to have a chance of getting taken, you have to sit on the phone and listen to the show on the phone, which sounds like shit, every fucking day for multiple weeks until they fucking answer your call. I'm not going to do that. If someone else wants to do that and ask Emma Vigeland what the fuck she went to multiple super spreader events for during an airborne pandemic, I'm curious. I'd love to know what her response to that would be. I'd love to know what the Young Turks has to say about the ongoing genocide that they're enabling by pretending the pandemic is over. I'd love to know how this apparently this leftist mafia upcoming fucking meetup or whatever they're planning is. At least that's what people are telling me, that they're planning some meetup at some point, right? I'd love to know. What the fuck are you people thinking? Are you stupid? Like, what happened here? Is it the peer pressure? If your friend told you to jump off a bridge, would you do it? If your friend told you to get infected with a permanently disabling virus, though, you might do it. Why? I don't know. I haven't been able to understand why any of these people do this stuff. I don't know. So, this is a call-out post? Yeah, but it's a call-out post because I want people to engage in better behavior. The same show, the Majority, and this is why I harp on the Majority Report, because they are the most popular, the ratio of, the left, the position, the leftist position they are. Young Turks is a center-right show, right? So that would be more popular, but they're also a center-right show. Majority Report claims to be the most popular left-wing news show. I don't know if they claim that, but that's their status, right? And the reason I harp on them is because they're influencing millions of people into believing that COVID is magic and disappeared. Because they have developed goodwill for a decade or so, and now they're expending that goodwill. The same group of people, the Majority Report, that did video after video about how Jimmy Dore is killing people because of his anti-vaccine lunacy, that same group of people, hypocritically, is now telling you to go to a convention during an airborne pandemic. A year ago, Jimmy Dore is evil because he is disinforming his audience on COVID. Now, a year later, the pandemic is even worse. The cover-up is in full effect, and they're going to conventions. So, explain it. So, I know, I'm done harping on that. We are going to move on to what's going on in Gaza over the last week. Blows my mind. I have to do COVID segments because no one else does. No one does. No one. Not a single fucking channel I know about that has any amount of prominence. And not to say that I have prominence, because I do not. Very clearly, I do not. Because if I did, more people in my audience wouldn't be posting stupid shit in the chat, which I know they're doing during the live premiere. You're going to be fucking idiots going I gotta live my life, man. I gotta go to concerts. I gotta live my life. I gotta live my life. Why you keep talking about this? I gotta live my life, man. I gotta live my life. How dare you, man? Criticize my life decisions. I gotta live my life. I gotta live my life. I gotta live my life. Why are you living in fear? I gotta live my life. So I know that those motherfuckers are doing that. I understand. But, yeah, that's, whatever. Anyway, next. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a free form here on what's going on in Gaza and Israel and international community, the international community, which just basically means, for those of you that want to know, by the way, just real quick, there is a empty car somewhere on the street, and Max is just like, he thinks that the car is a monster or something, and he's trying his best. So, Max, you're a good boy. Yeah. I think I heard a car move, so he might be scaring him away. Anyway, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a freeform. I could get all these clips, hot clips. Anyone? Where are the clips? Cue the clips. Where are the clips at? I could be doing that. I don't really feel like it. So instead, I'm going to be freeforming this with Max the dog barking in the background as background vocals. You may be distracted by this recent Israeli missile attack on a hospital in Gaza. It's possible. It's possible. All right, you may be hearing about this. And now, one of the things that we need to discuss on this topic is that Israel has acknowledged that they've already bombed around 10 hospitals in Gaza. Like, they have no problem admitting it. This recent hospital bombing that's become a media circus, if you will, this recent one, they claimed credit for immediately after it happened. They said, yeah, it was us. They actually said it on Twitter, if you can believe it. They said, yeah, it was us. And then they deleted their own tweets. Literally, the account, IDF, on Twitter, said, that was us, and then they deleted their own tweets. So, okay. So the group of people who has no problem saying that, yeah, we bombed like 10 hospitals, all of a sudden, and then they said, oh yeah, we bombed this one too. And all of a sudden, right? They're like, oh wait, no, actually it was Hamas. Yeah! Woo! Hamas! They killed their own people! Now, is it very possible? Is it possible that Hamas destroyed this hospital? Yeah, it's possible. That's why this whole fucking red herring media circus even exists. Because it's possible. Because it's fucking possible. But I need you to engage in critical thinking here. It does not matter even a little bit. Let's assume it was Hamas, Islamic Jihad, whatever the fuck group they want to pretend it is. It doesn't change the dynamic. It doesn't matter. This is a red herring. This is a distraction from the core story. Right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. If it was a misfired rocket, does it suck? If it was, sure. But it doesn't change the asymmetrical power dynamic of what's going on in Gaza. Some numbers that I've seen are about 3,000 dead motherfuckers in Gaza. Far exceeding the supposed terror attack on Israel. Now, again, I say supposed because the word terror, the word terrorism invokes a very specific thing that we've been through before. In the country of the United States of America, when I was in kindergarten, I was taken out of school early on September 11th. One of my first days of school in my entire scholastic career. I was taken out of school because some fucking crazy ass bitches took over a plane and destroyed a couple towers. Now, I was in New Jersey, so, people thought, they're going to fuck up the whole area, right? So, but And what happened after that? The U.S. war machine murdered, annihilated, committed a genocide of over 1 million innocent civilians in Iraq and Afghanistan. And they're dead now. Entire families destroyed. You know, some people are saying entire bloodlines destroyed. That's a little weird phraseology, but hey, whatever. 1 million plus dead motherfuckers. The United States attacked countries that had nothing to do with 9/11 or had very minimal to do with 9/11, as opposed to Saudi Arabia, which funded most of it. And the reason why even though definitionally what Hamas did in Israel is a terrorist attack, definitionally it fits the bill. It's a horrendous event. It's sad to witness. And no innocent civilians should be killed. But the over and over insistence on terrorism. Now, I said earlier I don't have any clips, but I actually have one clip. And I feel like this one is the most important one.
The world will know that Israel is stronger than ever. My message to any state or any other hostile actor thinking about attacking Israel remains the same as it was a week ago. Don't. Since this terrorist attack took place, we've seen it described as Israel's 9/11. Well, for a nation the size of Israel, it was like 15 9/11s. The scale may be different, but I'm sure those horrors have tapped into some kind of primal feeling in Israel, just like it did and felt in the United States.
A primal feeling. So again, definitionally, is it a terrorist attack? Yeah. I have no problem saying that. That's not an issue. But should we be harping on this? Should we be doing the Hamas game? Should we be playing, do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn Hamas? Like, it's punctuation marks, you know? Like periods or commas. Like, I condemn Hamas. Want to, I condemn Hamas. Go to the, I condemn Hamas. Grocery store, I condemn Hamas. Tomorrow, I condemn Hamas. To get some, I condemn Hamas. Spinach, I condemn Hamas. For my, I condemn Hamas. Salad that I condemn Hamas. Want to make, I condemn Hamas. For dinner, I condemn Hamas. Tonight. This game that people are playing is a red herring. It's a distraction. It's to make you fall into their framing. Now, philosophically speaking, should we condemn Hamas? Yeah, sure, fuck it. It's a bunch of fucking religious fanatics that were radicalized by Zionist religious fanatics, right? You know, and they decided to kill a bunch of innocent civilians as a way to get their message across. Well, didn't get across so well. But the harping on the T word, terror, leads to the 15 9/11s. 15 9/11s? Like, I'm sorry, man. Are we really gonna say shit like 15 9/11s? Now, again, I just want to say, over 1 million motherfuckers. We don't know the true number. Why? Because they stopped counting at 1 million. Over 1 million people in the United States have been murdered by Joe Biden's government when it comes to the COVID pandemic. Over 1 million. They stopped counting around there. So it could be 2 million, could be 3, could be higher. We don't know because they covered up the numbers. Now, again, I just want to say, million dead motherfuckers from COVID. Millions permanently disabled from COVID. And no one talks about it. If you talk about it, you get laughed at. If you talked about it, you get mocked. And we're still doing this 9/11 thing. 3,000 people died on 9/11. Is it sad? Sure. Is it tragic? Absolutely. But you know what else happened on 9/11? There were first responders that breathed in a metric shitload of toxic chemicals and have had lifelong disabilities. Still, 20 plus years later, they're still permanently disabled. from saving people from the rubble of 9/11. And they're fucked. They're fucked. Every couple years, the Republicans just try to say, fuck you, bitch, and let them die. And, they barely hang on. But one of these days, they won't. And that number, right, is by orders of magnitude, 1,000x, 10,000x even, is the COVID number, I should say. My sentence formulation there was substandard. But the COVID numbers of permanent disability, of people who are going to need lifelong care, is at least 1,000x the people that got fucked, the first responders that got fucked on 9/11. And we do nothing. Long COVID patients, they go to the doctor's offices, they get made fun of by doctors. You might not believe me, but I follow a lot of long COVID. I hesitate to use the word patients, but, people that have long COVID. I'd like to get people that have long COVID on my show at some point. If I'm going to have any guest on the show in the future at all, it's going to be people that have direct experience with long COVID or people that acknowledge that COVID exists, because that is the most important thing that we are dealing with right now. In the day-to-day lives. World War III might happen. Nukes might be flying in the Middle East or in Eastern Europe. But guess what? We have no control over that. We have no control over the outcome. And I know this is supposed to be about Gaza and Israel. But I want to let everyone know what is going on with Hamas, right? Why did they attack Israel? Because Israel has enslaved millions of people in Gaza. They are not allowed to leave the Gaza Strip. They are permanently imprisoned. It's slavery, essentially. They're not allowed to build any kind of personal wealth. And if they do, it gets bombed to smithereens. If they build a house, it gets bombed to smithereens. If you have kids, you won't be able to see your kids, I was going to say graduate high school, but graduate kindergarten, because you'll be bombed to smithereens, right? And it's created people that are permanently traumatized. The survivors of the last, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years of the genocides that occurred in the 40s and 50s, the genocides that are occurring now, the genocides that occurred 15 years ago. The survivors are permanently disabled, and they have nothing left in their lives. And when you are permanently disabled in the sense that you are traumatized because military power killed your family for no reason, and there's radicalized militants that are saying, hey, they killed my family too, and we're going to do something about it instead of just letting them kill us. That's what leads to the Hamas terror attack. So if you want to say that I'm blaming Israel for Hamas committing a terror attack inside of Israel, I am. Yes, I am blaming Israel. It's all Israel's fault. And if you ask the average Israeli, they would agree. There is a poll done by one of the major newspapers in Israel that found that most people blame Netanyahu. And who is Netanyahu? The Prime Minister of Israel for Hamas terror attack on October 7th, I want to say. I really hope 10/7 doesn't become like a fucking 9/11 meme. Oh, Jesus. But it literally is their fault. It's not questionable. It's not debatable. It's a matter of fact. The only reason that the Hamas militants were able to even get into the civilian spaces in Israel was because the IDF left their duty guarding, quote unquote, the Gaza prison. They left their duty to go to the West Bank, which is another Palestinian occupied zone, to kill Palestinians. In the West Bank, over the last few months, there have been, people call them settlers, but I don't really think settler evokes the right feeling, the right description. They are settlers, that's correct, but I would consider them Nazis, terrorists, pogrom participants, Israeli civilians, evil neo-Nazi scumbags going into the West Bank murdering Palestinians in their own homes, throwing all of their things out for garbage collection, and then stealing their houses. This is happening and has been happening in the West Bank for a considerable period of time. And there have been escalated events in the West Bank over the last few months that have led the IDF from going from the Gaza Strip, guarding the prisoners, the prison guards, to the West Bank, not to help the Palestinians not get murdered in their own home and have their things stolen from them, but to murder the Palestinians for the settlers, or the terrorists, or the Nazis, the pogrom participants. The IDF has been in the West Bank, murdering Palestinians and watching people murder Palestinians, supporting, giving guns to people to murder Palestinians like it's a game. And they left a wide open hole for Hamas to get into Israel and commit a brutal terror attack. So it is Israel's fault. It's the government of Israel's fault. It's Netanyahu's fault. It's the West's fault for enabling all of this toxic behavior. And so if you're spending any amount of time on this hospital bombing, was it Hamas? Was it the fucking Islamic Jihad? Or was it like Israel? Or was it just like an accident? Was it like, who knows? I'm sorry, man. It's a waste of time. It doesn't matter. Because even if it was Islamic Jihad or some other stupid fucking bullshit, even if it was, that doesn't change the power dynamic, and it doesn't change on what created the conditions for those groups to flourish. When the United States killed over 1 million civilians in Iraq and Afghanistan, what happened? Terrorism and terroristic groups got larger numbers, got more effective, got more radicalized. So we went in there, killed 1 million innocent people, and the family members of the 1 million innocents that we killed, not all of them, of course, but a sizable chunk, decided we're going to get revenge by any means necessary. Now, am I excusing that behavior? No, I'm telling you a factual recount of historical events that led to this moment. And the rhetoric of Joe Biden going to Israel and saying the Israeli lie that Israel didn't bomb this hospital, it's a lie. Israel bombed the hospital. That's what I believe. That's what all the facts are starting to show. Israel bombed the hospital. It certainly wasn't a Hamas rocket. It certainly wasn't Islamic Jihad. It definitely was not. It's possible that it was just a very unfortunate random explosion. Possible. But it's definitely the country that admits to bombing 10 other hospitals. They admitted to bombing 10 other hospitals. Why would this one be any different? Why? Because they recognized an opportunity to distract. They recognized an opportunity to distract people from what the fucking shit was going on that they were doing over the last week. They know that they have been getting some pushback. Again, domestically, in Israel, a majority of people in Israel blame Netanyahu's government. So they have to change the discussion. That's how propaganda works. And that's why you see the IDF immediately take credit for it. In the sense of, well, we warned them, we called them ahead of time, and we told them we're going to kill everybody, and then we killed everybody, but, it was like, and then, 2 hours later, this tweet has been deleted. Because they recognized it didn't matter if they claimed credit for it. That doesn't matter. They can just lie. Joe Biden's coming tomorrow. We'll just lie to Joe Biden and get Joe Biden to repeat our lie, and then people will believe it. So, this whole thing is fucked. Meanwhile, Russia's having a field day in Ukraine. War. Who knows what World War III is going to break out over? I think, if you were to ask me, I think it's more likely that we see a World War III nuclear scenario in the Middle East than it is in Eastern Europe. That said, shit's getting really bad when it comes to international conflict. That implies a symmetry of power, which does not exist. So much so that the State Department advises all Americans overseas to exercise increased caution in worldwide alert. Increased caution. Why would Americans be at risk? For the same reason why Israeli civilians would be at risk in Israel, in places closer to the Gaza Strip. Because the government of America is deciding to commit multiple genocides in the name of Americans. The government of Israel is committing multiple genocides in the name of Israelis. When your family is massacred, blown, and you don't even have a body to recover in a lot of instances, you know, and if you do, it's probably only part of a body, shreds of a body. When that happens, and then you find the missile casing that has the American flag on it, that has the Israeli flag on it, it makes perfect sense why you would blame those people. And again, collective guilt is wrong. Collective punishment is wrong. It's illogical, fundamentally. But it makes sense. If you believe what Israel is doing in Gaza is okay because Hamas attacked Israel, then you believe Hamas attacking Israel is okay because Israel occupied Gaza. It's that simple. Unless you don't, in which case the logic is not something you're actually interested in, and you're just a genocidal maniac. But their shit is fucked, you know? It's fucked. It's not good. It's really bad. And I can confidently say, it's bad. You know, I am not an expert by any means when it comes to foreign policy. I've read a couple books. I've read books about it. I've watched documentaries about, about it. What is it? Is it foreign policy? No, that's not nonsense. I've read books about the history of other countries. I've watched documentaries about the history of other countries, especially Israel and the conditions in Gaza. And most people don't do that. Most people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. There's this actor. Some people call her a comedian, but this actor / comedian calling for a complete genocide of Gazans in the United States. Someone who lives in the United States. I should be clear about my wording here. Who is a famous actor, made a big deal, huff and puff, about leaving the DSA because the DSA is against genocide in Gaza. The DSA is in favor of genocide in the United States when it comes to the COVID-19 pandemic. They're fine with that. DSA is totally corrupt. They say, let's kill all the sick people we can as fast as possible so that we can go out and do our fake marches and solidarity things with people that we killed. But when it comes to Palestine, the DSA is like, yeah, genocide is bad. And so this famous actor and or comedian, I don't know if the latter part is actually functional, is now calling for a complete genocide in Gaza and has left the DSA because of this. Because people are crazy and they don't actually know anything. They don't know anything. Americans, now again, a lot of people in the world, but especially Americans, have access to so much information. And yet, they would rather spend hours of their life arguing with people on a subject they have no understanding of instead of watching one documentary. Think about it. Well, how long is an average documentary? Hour? 2 hours maybe? You know. They don't want to watch a documentary. They would rather spend 10 hours on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook arguing about something from a position of ignorance. Why? Because of the dopamine rush. Do you really get a dopamine rush when you're learning new information versus when you're doing epic dunks on people on Twitter? Think about it. It's an addiction. Social media is an addictive drug. It's a drug, and it's addictive. It changes your brain chemistry. It changes how you think. And people are more likely to spend literally weeks of daily Twitter wars and Facebook wars and getting into fights with family members over things that they know nothing about instead of watching one documentary on the subject. And that's what puts us in this mess. The anti-intellectualist position of, learning is cringe. Oh, you like learning? Cringe. You read books, cringe. That culture breeds stupid motherfuckers that not only believe that COVID is magic, not only believe that God is real. If you're a Christian and you're pretending like Muslims are a unique kind of crazy because they want to kill in the name of their God, whew, should probably read a book. Should probably watch a documentary or something about your own history. The fact that it's even possible for people in the United States of America to believe in God, to me, is insane. I understand how someone who lives every day of their life in a war zone, I can understand why they would turn to God. But if you live in America, I don't care how poor you are. I was poor as a kid. I was fucking sick as a kid all the time. I had abusive parents. My life sucked as a kid. And I turned to God. I remember this. I turned to God when I was 9 or 10 years old. I prayed that my mother would stop hitting me. You know, that she would love me again, like I perceived as a younger child. And guess what? Nothing happened. I gave it a shot. I tried it out. Didn't work. It didn't work. Why? Because there is no God. There is no Jesus. It's not real. None of it is real. Yahweh is not real. Allah is not real. Muhammad's not real. That one guy in the fucking Book of Mormon, what's his name, Joseph or whatever, he's not real. Okay, maybe he's real, but he's just lying. That motherfucker was like, alive like not even that long ago. But my point here is that when you have a nation, not even just a nation, but a population of humans on planet Earth, because fuck nations, fuck borders, fuck these countries. We're all just a bunch of apes running around that believe in magic and sorcery. And when you have such a large percentage of people on Earth, they literally believe in things that are factually false. They believe in things that are like that a 3-year-old could disprove. Like a 3-year-old can disprove God. If a 3-year-old is not groomed into believing that God is real, right? They'll easily understand that there is no God. Very easily. Why? There's no evidence. There's none whatsoever. But when 70 to 80% of people on Earth believe in this shit, no wonder they believe COVID is magic and disappeared. No wonder they believe that Israel did nothing wrong or whatever. No wonder they believe all this crazy, insane fucking shit that you see people saying all the time. Do I have a point here? No, I don't have a point. I'm just talking about the subject. I don't have a point. I don't have a lesson for you. I don't have anything. All I know is I'm going crazy here. Year 4 of the pandemic so far has been the worst. It's been the year where everyone embraced God, embraced magic, embraced Harry Potter, and they decided, you know what? The germ theory of disease had a good run. I don't believe in it anymore. I'm going to go see Barbie. I'm going to go see Taylor Swift. I'm going to go see Beyonce. Germ theory of disease? I mean, I don't know, man. Like, on one hand, you have the germ theory of disease, scientific theory that's been proven multiple times that germs can cause bodily injury and disease, right? And then Taylor Swift. Oof, I mean, I don't know, science that has been improved upon and improved for 100 plus years. VidCon. I mean, it's up in the air which one is. So it's no wonder that we're in this position. Everyone's fucking crazy. But me, of course. No, I'm definitely crazy. I got my crazy quirks. But at least my crazy quirks aren't killing people. Right? Like, I mean, I feel good about that. I can hang my hat on that. The things that I'm a little bit crazy about aren't directly killing people. Right? So, whoo! God damn. It must be hard. Must be rough. Being one of those motherfuckers that believes in magic. I guess not, actually. Because It's the ignorance is bliss mentality. If you don't believe that COVID is real, or you believe that magic protects you from COVID and everyone else, then you don't believe that you're directly responsible for killing people. If you go to a convention when you know that you have COVID actively, and you give it to people, well, you believe COVID is mild and or is the flu. You believe Donald Trump. That's what Emma Vigeland believes. Emma Vigeland of the Majority Report. She believes Donald Trump. When it comes to COVID, she's a Donald Trump supporter. MAGA, Make America Great Again. I want to go to VidCon. These are dumb motherfuckers. There's a critical lack of comprehension and critical thinking going on in left-wing spaces. There's a lot of fracturing going on over Israel and Palestine, which is surprising to me because it's a very clear-cut dynamic. Israel is an oppressor. Really, Israel's not even a real country. Now, again, I don't even think countries should be real, right? But Israel is especially a fake country because it can't defend itself. The entire project of Israel is essentially just a military base by the West. That's what it is. How do you think they got Jewish people there to begin with? Because it was a military motherfucking base. So really, Israel's not even a real country. So, and you know, this might offend people. Israel has a right to exist. Does it? Does any country have a right to exist? Like, why does Israel have a right to exist, but Palestine doesn't? Does that make sense? Did indigenous people in the United States, did they have a right to exist? Really, it's interesting that only military powers and military bases have a right to exist. Oppressed people that don't have access to that, fuck them. They don't have a right to exist. Let's just flatten an entire half of Gaza. Let's, because they said you have to evacuate northern Gaza. That's 1 million motherfuckers. Let's just displace 1 million people. Because Israel has a right to exist? Really? Brain dead, stupid ass shit. And I guess I do have a lesson here, a point. And I'm not saying that this is the single contributing factor. But I mentioned earlier in this program, COVID fuses your brain cells together, which prevents neurons from firing. It can cause dementia. COVID destroys your brain. So when you get COVID and your brain's been destroyed and your day-to-day life is a dopamine addiction, oh, I gotta get up. I gotta fucking check Twitter. Who's adding me on Twitter? Oh, I gotta epic dunk. I gotta dunk. And then you go on your politics show and you do your epic dunks. Oh my God, this is so horrifying. I'm gonna cry. Epic dunk. Oh my God. And then people like your post. Super chat, right? If that's your day-to-day life and you've gotten COVID and your brain's being destroyed and that's the only thing that you're seeing, the only reinforcement mechanism is an addiction to fucking getting little hearts on your fucking YouTube page, getting money from strangers, getting likes and retweets. That's what you're addicted to. Your brain's being fucking destroyed. No wonder you're going to act like a fucking idiot on every fucking issue. And it's like the water bullshit that I mentioned earlier. Not everyone is going to go fucking totally Looney Tunes to like the degree that, like an Alex Jones type character is. Am I going to say that like fucking Emma Vigeland is Alex Jones? No, but she's on her way there. When you say magic is real and COVID does not exist, and you tell millions of viewers that, right? I mean, that's crazy, right? That's pretty fucking nutso, right? I mean, and so think about it on a worldwide scale. Almost everyone is getting repeatedly infected with COVID, which they believe is mild, even though there is zero evidence. There's not a single scientific paper that says that the COVID disease is mild. They will say that the acute phase can be mild, but the acute phase is just that, a phase, the acute phase. In the reverse sense, if you develop a cancer, do you know? How do you know? I could have cancer right now. I have no idea. Why? I haven't had a cancer screening. It's possible I have cancer. I don't know. It's possible you have cancer. When's the last time you had a cancer screening? If you don't ever get cancer screenings, guess what's going to happen? You're going to develop cancer. You're going to have cancer for a while. And then, maybe 2 years after the cancer and the tumors start developing, guess what's going to happen? You're going to cough up blood one day. You're going to shit blood one day. You're going to pass out one day. You're going to wake up in the hospital. A doctor's going to tell you got stage 3 cancer. We might be able to save you, but it's pretty rough. So think about this in the sense of COVID. You get acutely infected. You may have a fever for a while. You may cough extensively. You may feel like shit for a few weeks. And then the virus moves out of your respiratory system into your liver, into your heart, into other organs that are extremely important. The liver and the heart are very important, but all your organs are important. You need them. Well, there's like 1 or 2 maybe you can do without. But are you like I'm serious. Like, are you gonna know that? Are you gonna know that your liver is being damaged until you pass out? If you're 25 years old, right? How do you know that you're going to experience liver failure before you experience a pretty debilitating symptom, unless you get a screening ahead of time? If you get a liver test, and they find out, hey, we got some weird markers on your liver, you might want to cool it with alcohol and sugar for a while, maybe rest up a little bit. Seems like you have COVID in your liver, so, maybe don't eat the, fucking Rice Krispie treats, or, maybe don't get some McDonald's because that's going to fuck your shit up, right? But they're not doing that. They're just waiting until they have liver failure. Why? Because we don't even have a healthcare system. Cancer screenings are hard to get, right? And this is why it all comes back to the Medicare for All screeching. The screeching and reeing by the Medicare for All activists on the left. Because it turns out they didn't give a fuck about healthcare. They didn't give a fuck. It was just they had a correct policy position, right? Because it's all about the epic internet debate. And before the internet, it was about the epic debate on what's right and what's wrong. It's not about an actual life philosophy. These people don't give a shit about your health. They don't give a shit about their own health. They don't give a fuck about anybody. But they know Medicare for All is a logical policy when it comes to policy. They know that. And so they screech about it, and then a pandemic comes along, and they want to go see Barbie and Beyonce and Taylor Swift. I don't keep up with culture, so this is just what I'm getting from osmosis. I know I keep repeating that. I don't know anything. Madonna is out there, I guess. Right? She's doing her thing. And so, yeah, they want to go to the fucking, conventions. And so all of a sudden, when push comes to shove, when their stated ideology is tested, they immediately fail. Maybe not immediately, right? Left-wing shows, left-wingers, they pretended for a year or 2 years to believe in COVID. But year 3, year 4, they don't believe it anymore. I got to go to the arcade. I got to go play laser tag. I got to go to my stupid gaming convention, my anime convention. I got to go to my comic convention. I got to go to all these stupid conventions and get myself a permanently disabling virus that's going to knock 10 to 20 years off my lifespan. But don't worry, guys, because, if you asked me intellectually, I'd say, yeah, Medicare for All, Medicare for All, Medicare for All, whoa! But again, actions speak louder than words. I don't give a fuck what people say when their behavior is directly hypocritical. Now, it's one thing, again, if you advocate for healthy eating, if you advocate for healthy lifestyles, healthy behavior, if you advocate to not get COVID, and that's what you tell people, and you personally, behind the scenes, I don't give a fuck what you do. I give a fuck how you behave in public. If behind the scenes you are worshiping a fucking shrine to Adolf Hitler or a Benjamin Netanyahu, it's hard to tell who's worse at this point. And then that's not in public, and you're doing that behind the scenes. But then in public, you're an advocate for everything that's great, and you uphold those values in your actions. I don't give a shit what you do in your private. That doesn't matter to me. Oh shit, I almost knocked coffee all over my desk. Jesus fucking Christ. Now again, would I prefer that you don't, have a shrine to Benjamin Netanyahu or Adolf Hitler, whichever one you think is worse? It's up in the air. It's debatable. I would prefer you didn't. But you know what? I would rather take the person who's secretly based and they secretly have good opinions and then they're a Nazi in public over the person who's a Nazi in private and has all the right opinions in public. That's my opinion. I'm just saying, I'm just being honest with you. I would prefer that. Because if we don't know what people are doing in their private time, how does it affect us? Right? But when you're a public figure and your private life is intermixed with your public life in the sense that you as a person physically are going to conventions and when you're COVID positive and purposefully infecting people during an airborne pandemic, like, I'm sorry, man, that is rife for ripe. Is it ripe or rife? I don't know. For critique. And so I don't know. My show, I want to tell you all as I'm wrapping this show up, this has been a rambly show. This has been a crazy one. You may have noticed I did a live stream with a couple people. You know, that's going to be a thing, I guess. We'll see how it goes. I had fun, you know, so go watch that if you want. But the Above It All show, this is a new era for the Above It All show. Everyone might not like it. Everyone might not stay with it. Everyone might not stick with it. I don't care. I want the show to have... I used to believe in the quantity over quality approach, and that got me to this position. So it works in some instance, quantity over quality. But now I'm in this position. I'm already here. So I'm switching. I'm going to quality over quantity. And I cannot do a daily show on politics. Why? Because everyone's fucking stupid and crazy, and I'm going to go insane talking about this on a daily basis. I'm going to go insane arguing with stupid motherfuckers about whether or not magic is real and that COVID is real or not on a daily basis. That would make me go insane, so I can't do that. But what I can do is I can put some energy into one show a week and to make that show challenging. I don't want people, if you want to watch an easy show, you know, we'll see how the left past 10 goes. I'm excited for it. If you want to see an easy show, junk food, go watch that. If you want to be challenged to some degree, and I know a lot of the people that agree with me on these issues, they're not getting challenged, but I'll throw the curveball eventually, right? You know, just hold out. You know, think about antibiotics. Think about if you eat meat, you're directly funding the destruction of antibiotics in healthcare. Why? If you eat meat, you're funding factory farming. Factory farming uses antibiotics on cattle. Which is not working, and it's creating antibiotic-resistant superbacterial viruses that are then going to probably slip into food at some point because, you know, we don't really have any good health and safety standards for meat in this country. And then super-resistant bacteria are going to infect humans, and then all of a sudden our antibiotics aren't going to work, so maybe that's something to think about. If you eat meat, you're funding that, so think about it. Just some, you know, a little challenge, you know, just for people that thought the show was easy mode, I have to throw in that one there. But this show, I am switching it to be less of a routine thing, less of a news show, and more of a philosophically challenging show that engages in the news as a mechanism for engaging in more important things. Because, like you may notice, I'm not talking about the House Speaker vote. Why? Who cares? Who cares? Everyone else is talking about it. If you want to watch someone talking about the House Speaker, go watch someone else. They're all talking about it. Content. I don't give a shit about content. I don't give a shit about the money. I don't give a shit if I get demonetized. I don't give a shit if people unsubscribe. I don't give a shit. I've lost 100 subscribers on the last month or so from doing these shows. Now, again, are all of them people that are upset with the words I'm saying? Maybe not. Some of them maybe just like they just don't like this format, so they're not... Whatever. And I've gained, you know, it's evened out a little bit. But, yeah, when I see minus 100 on the, you know, because on YouTube, you get the total number, right? The new subscriptions and then the lost subscriptions and then what the net is. But you can also, on the analytics dashboard, see how many people unsubscribed and how many people subscribed, the raw numbers. And when I see 100 people unsubscribed, I'm thinking, I did something right. Because I've been here before. I've been around the internet. You might not know this. I've been around the internet for a long time. I've gone through multiple phases on the internet with how I produce videos and what I do and what I talk about. I've had multiple maybe even a dozen or so different types of audiences throughout my streaming and video creating career. And I'm going to be honest with you, like, it's really easy. And when I was younger, because I started doing this shit when I was a teenager, which in my opinion should be illegal, but hey, whatever. When I was younger, I loved the attention. I loved the audience capture. I loved saying things that people wanted to hear, and then they were nice to me. Why? Because I was starved for attention as a child. I didn't really have parents. I was neglected all day. I was sick. Spent my entire life at home. Didn't have any friends. Blah, blah, blah. So the idea that I could make videos on the internet and people would pay attention to me, I wanted to keep that. And then I went crazy. This is a little quick summary of my internet history. Then I went crazy because that's not sustainable. And it's also just it's bad for the mental health. When you just follow what people want you to say, it destroys your mind, right? And it'll lead you to say and do really stupid things, and to maybe go to VidCon during an airborne pandemic, maybe do some bad satire pieces. We've all been there. It's possible you'll say and do stupid stuff when you become audience captured. So I learned a lesson at some point about 5 or 6 years ago that I never want to fall into that trap again. And you can consider it an overcorrection, maybe. What I'm doing currently is an overcorrection. But I don't want to succumb to audience capture. I refuse. In a way, I've been vaccinated. I got antibodies, motherfucker. I got fucking antibodies. And so, if everyone wants to tell me that COVID is magic and disappeared, I'm sorry. I want to form my own opinions. And one of the best ways to do that is to just take breaks. Doing a daily show, you will fall into that kind of behavior subconsciously. And not to say that everyone does, or to what extent, and and how, and in what ways people engage in this behavior. But just being here every day, interacting with people that most of them are great, them, you, whatever, people listening to this. But just the idea that there's a chance that some stupid fuckers are going to just totally break my mojo, I just don't want to put up with that. I'm going to focus on what's in here. Not just my mental health, but just the way I think about things. I want to read more. I want to study more. I want to learn more about history. I want to learn more other skills. I've been learning how to compose music. That's a new skill I've taken up over the last month. I guess I'm a musician. I don't know. Right, but that's a new skill. I'm learning a lot of other stuff, some of which I don't want to reveal. Because I like to have a private life. I don't need to tell you everything. And, a lot of people are wondering what's going on with me. I know a lot of people miss my show. I understand that. But I'm just telling you, I recognized that I was going crazy this year. And, I'm intervening before it gets too bad. And so maybe I'll do a daily show again in the future. During the presidential election season, I very well might do that. Just because that's going to be one hell of a fucking train wreck. Hyperventilating just thinking about it, but so maybe I'll switch to a daily format again in the future for some period of time. But right now, I want to focus on myself. I want to focus on my health. I want to focus on the artistic merit of this show, whatever it is. I don't think it's that high, right? But if you want to, I think there's a little bit there. I want to focus on challenging my audience. I want to focus on educating my audience instead of stagnation. Because when you do anything for an extended period of time, you stagnate. That's the default. Unless you break it. Unless you go out of your way to shake things up and to be uncomfortable. Because if you just strive for comfort, right, you're going to achieve comfort in the form of stagnation, in the form of not challenging yourself, in the form of not learning the things at the rate that you want to, in the form of, being addicted to the dopamine rush of getting the super chats and all this shit, right? And you could say I am maybe overcorrecting or paranoid, and I'm just rambling here. Some of this might not even make sense. I don't fucking know. But it's like, this year, I've been doing Above It All since early 2020, since January of 2020. And this year I realized just doing this shit every day is starting to make me go crazy. And it's inhibiting my ability to take care of myself. It's inhibiting my ability to educate myself at the rate that I would like to. It's inhibiting my ability to learn new skills in other forms of art, or not even just non-artistic skills like woodworking. Not to say I'm woodworking, but just an example of a skill that's not artistic necessarily. Well, I mean, woodworking can be, but just I'm not making any fucking whatever. And it's destroying my ability to live a life that I'll be happy with. And so that's why I'm switching to a weekly show. And so the idea of doing 2 weekly shows, one that's public and live, and one that is more meaningful to me. Not to say that the other one is theoretically less meaningful, but to me personally, this is more meaningful. So I'm okay with doing the junk food on the side, and as long as you get vegetables. And I want to consider Above It All to be the vegetable of your media diet, whatever you want to call it. This is the spinach, the Brussels sprout, the carrot, or even an avocado, of your media diet. That's what I want it to be anyway. So whether or not I am there now, whether or not I will get there at any point in the future, that remains to be seen. But that's the goal here. That's the goal. Because I feel like a lot of people in this ecosystem, and I've been in all kinds of ecosystems. I've been online, offline. I've been in many different ecosystems. But in the political left-wing YouTube ecosystem, we have reached incredible stagnation. Incredible stagnation. Since the collapse of the Bernie campaign, this ecosystem has been honestly embarrassing to be a part of, to be honest with you. And so I strive to do something that's not either not being done anywhere else, or not being done anywhere else that I know of or people in my audience know of. And if people want to share other things or whatever, where I can find some solidarity somewhere in this ecosystem, and I'm trying to build that, there's definitely some great people, and I want to build that solidarity in meaningful ways. Anyway, I'm rambling. This is just, I don't know how long this fucking episode is going to be, like fucking Jesus Christ, 2 hours or whatever. Quantity can sometimes also yield quality. So, but that's where my head's at. You can agree, you can disagree. I don't really care, to be honest with you. Another aspect to it is, to be honest, my audience has grown considerably. Percentage-wise. When I started doing Above It All, I had basically kind of did a little bit more of a barnstorming version of what I'm doing now. And I had basically cleansed my entire audience. I basically completely switched to a different type of thing. Everyone that followed me, for the most part, some people stuck around, right? But for the most part, I lost 95. I used to get hundreds of viewers on a daily basis on internet live streams. And I chose, fuck all of those people. I don't like them anymore. I didn't like them for a long period of time. I did it for the money. I needed the money. I no longer need the money in that same capacity, so that's no longer a factor. I value my mental health, right? And I've decided, you know what? My audience here, back to what I was saying, my audience here has grown considerably, and to be honest, it is hard to deal with having, I wouldn't even say I have a large audience. I wouldn't even say that, but for me personally, I'm not a very social person. Like I said, I was very socially isolated and socially malnourished as a child. And that made me overcorrect to become a people pleaser, in the context of the internet, and want to get as many people, who could like me as possible around me, to create an environment of safety. But that was fraudulent safety. And there's, just a little trauma response, whatever, And, I'm just being honest with you. Like, having a chat room that I have to engage with, mentally speaking, I cannot do that on a daily basis. Now, maybe I'll do a solo Above It All stream like once a month or so. It's possible. Don't get your hopes up. Maybe in a couple of months from now, I will try to do more live engagement. But I need a break. I need a vacation from that, honestly, because that is the most stressful part of this. I want to, again, just to tell another story. I used to be a video game live streamer. For many years, I would stream 10 hours a day at the minimum. Some years I was streaming like 16 hours every day. I didn't take weekends off. I had no vacations. And I was constantly engaging with a group of people over the internet. And it drove me insane. It drove me insane to do that every day. And, over the last year, I've just realized I'm just not a social person. Is that a result of my childhood? Maybe. Should I strive to be more of a social creature? Probably. But I realized I am not a social person. And when I was a gaming live streamer, I associated video games with the social aspect of streaming. I could not play video games. I could not enjoy video games for multiple years. And I don't want to fall into that again. I don't want to get into a position where it's like, I don't want to think about politics, or I have that brain, because the brain is an associative organ. If you're playing video games all day and you're streaming it for a job, which is what I used to do, and then, that entails having to deal with a bunch of people on a daily basis, right? It builds that association. So I become aware of that association, and I don't want to have that happen again here. And fundamentally, I'm just not a social person. I'm sorry. I don't work well in groups. We'll see how the Left Past 10 show goes. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful, personally. I'm optimistic. But generally speaking, I don't work well in groups. I'm good at faking it, relatively speaking. Possibly. Who knows? I mean, not anymore. I'm just being honest with you. Right now, I'm coming clean, right? But that is my least favorite part of all of this. My least favorite part. Now, that's not to say I don't appreciate people. They watch me, right? It's just I cannot handle it. My mental state at this moment in time, and just generally speaking, my personality, I cannot handle having an audience that I have to interact with all the time. I cannot do that. I'm sorry. Again, I couldn't play video games for multiple years. Because every time I played video games, I would get depressed, because for years, I would play video games while streaming, and the social aspect of streaming depressed the fucking shit out of me, which caused a nervous system brain association between video games and depression. And so I couldn't play video games for multiple years. One project I've been doing this year is I've been trying to play video games again. Last year, late last year, I started really getting back into Doom speedrunning, which is one of the major things that I really enjoyed doing a long time ago. And that's been great. I've been enjoying that. And I've been doing it, almost all of it, alone, by myself. I've streamed some stuff on that, right? But 95% of the Doom speedruns that I've done, and if you don't care about it, whatever, I'm just blogging here, I've done alone. And I like video games again. So it turns out that I didn't hate video games. And actually, I love playing video games, and I love playing video games at a high skill level. I just hate all the other stuff, right? All the fucking, the hype, the fucking attention, right? The people talking about me, because I've got that personality. If someone talks about me, and then someone comes into my chat, so-and-so said something about you, I'm gonna go look. I literally cannot stop myself. I have an addictive personality in that sense. I'm heavily addicted to when I learn that someone has spoken something about me, I want to look at it and I want to respond. And that's like a disability that I have. And that's one of many reasons that I want to do pre-recorded shows. And, So a lot of people have asked me a lot of questions. It may seem disjointed at this point. This whole show may have seemed disjointed, but I'm working through. We're going to get to the other end of what this iteration is going to be like. This is the beta phase, you know. Every time, like when I first switched to live stream, when I started Above It All, it was not live streamed for the very reasons that I've suggested. I was no live streams for me. And then I decided, okay, well, I got enough people to watch my Above It All clips. Let's just do a live stream version of it. I did that for many years. And now, you know, and at the first year was a beta, you know, I didn't really know what I was doing. And, you know, we're in that another beta phase. I'm changing to a different kind of format. And so this may be disjointed, but I'm just responding to a lot of I try to read a lot of the messages. I've been not responding to them, as much as I used to. And so I'm just frothing at the mouth, giving you some vomiting, diarrhea, if you will, of responses to general inquiries that people have sent me. But yeah, I'm fine. Like, mentally speaking, I am doing so great compared to like 3-4 months ago. And I want to maintain that for as long as I can. So anyway, kind of turned into a life update there at the end, but I just want to let people know what the direction of what I'm doing is going. The direction is and I know people are going to be saddened to hear this, but hey, it's going to make any future interactions more meaningful and special. So, think about it, right? If you have pizza every day, kind of gets a little boring. Not to say that watching a live stream of me is like eating pizza. I'm not that narcissistic, although, you know, it could be. Some people may have said, many people are saying, let's just put it that way. Okay. I would never say such a thing, but I've heard it described in that fashion, by other people that are not me. Whereas if you get pizza once every 2 months, it's more special, or once a week, whatever. Yeah. So if you're somebody who keeps fucking, asking me what the fuck I'm doing, just watch what I'm doing. Enjoy it, don't enjoy it, leave, stay, whatever. I'm focusing on the art, the artistic merit. I'm focusing on the quality of what I want to say. I'm focusing on alignment between how I feel and how I want to present myself to the public, and I want to reach an alignment as close as possible. That's what I'm focusing on, a journey of my own. Yeah, so I'm just rambling here. I'm just, but I think I've covered any possible preempt. Now, this is how my mind works, is I know people are going to be reacting to things that I'm saying, so I'm trying to preemptively explain a certain thing, you know, so, but I just, please, for the love of fucking motherfuck, if you are spamming my motherfucking shit or asking me stupid questions, why are you doing this, whatever, hopefully this answers that. You know, there you go. But to recap, COVID is real. Just a reminder, it is real. What's not real is magic. Magic is actually fake. They made it up. Who's they? I don't know, but somebody made it up. What's going on in Gaza is a genocide. And it's bad. And the hospital red herring media circus has no bearing on any of this. It's a giant distraction. None of it matters whatsoever. If Hamas did bomb the hospital, yes, that's bad, but that doesn't change the fucking power dynamic. IDF has already admitted to bombing other hospitals. They claim credit to bombing this one. This is like a big media blitz. The 15 9/11s thing, that shit is crazy. And who knows, we could be heading to World War III at any point. Right? It's possible. We could be fucked. And COVID doesn't even matter anyway. And I made a wrong bet. I made the bet that, hey, I want to live a long, healthy life. And then it turns out we're all going to die in a nuclear holocaust. So maybe I should have been going to Taylor Swift. But, you know. But hey, whatever. Yeah, we're fucked. Things are really bad in the world. And when you do a politics show every day, that fucks you. That fucks you. When you do a politics show every day and you have to constantly be reminded about how terrible everything is, that fucks your shit up. And it's unhealthy. It's not healthy. So, and maybe I am more susceptible to the unhealthy adverse effects of that based on my previous life experience. It's possible, right? Like, I am more likely to respond negatively to a smaller dose of the crazy, insane fucking shit that's going on in the world, whereas people can maybe have a higher tolerance to the crazy ass shit that's going on in the entire world, right? So, and maybe that's what's putting me in this position where I want to do a pre-recorded show. Who knows? I'm still figuring things out. I'm swimming in my own brain here. But yeah, the point of this show, as I've said before, is I want people to have a sort of perspective shift in some degree, whether it be minor, whether it be major, whether it be temporary, whether it be permanent. And I feel like doing a daily show does not accomplish that goal. And I feel like interacting with my audience also every day. When did that, just think about it. When did that become a thing? Like when did it become normalized in human culture and society for artists, which I consider myself? I don't consider myself a content creator. I think that that's a disgusting term. I consider myself an artist. When did it become normalized for artists to be interacting with their audience or with people that consume their art on a daily basis all the time? When did that become normalized? I can't handle it. I'm going to tell you this straight up. It's not for me. I love creating things. I love making stuff. I love showing people my stuff. But just the daily ritual of having to read emails, reading comments, interacting directly in a live environment, I cannot handle that. That is not normal. That is not normal by any means necessary. This is an aberration in human fucking society. There has never been a moment in human society where people that produce art are constantly on a daily fucking basis. Maybe the only precursor to this is famous actors or musicians in the 20th century, maybe, or politicians. But I don't think artists and politicians should deserve to be interacting daily with motherfuckers that, like them or hate. That's the thing about, I appreciate and adore most of my audience. But again, in a live environment, I have to be constantly aware that at any moment, all it's going to take is some random motherfucker to come in and fuck my shit up, break my concentration, send me off on a tangent, which I know people enjoy sometimes, but, just think about it from my perspective. This is my stuff. This is what I'm producing for you to enjoy. And you can not enjoy it. You can enjoy whatever the fuck. I don't give a shit. But I don't know. I feel like that's crazy. I feel like live streaming is crazy. I feel like, becoming a live streamer for me was a mistake. I turned some window off, so I guess I'm a little darker now. I just can't handle it. The idea that, I used to get, there was at the peak, if you will, of having people pay attention to me. I was getting 300, 400 viewers per live stream for multiple months. This is when I was doing Resident Evil 4 speedruns. That was the most, attention in real time that I ever got. I used to have a chat room that was miles a minute. It was insane. And that destroyed my brain. And, just the idea, just imagining having 100 people watching a live show I'm doing and being intimately aware of the statistics drives me insane. So this live show I'm doing, the Left Past 10 show, it is going to be interactive, but I am not going to be doing, I'm not going to be the one in charge of the interacting. I don't want to look at the viewership. I don't want to know the viewership. I don't want to be anywhere involved with that. Because I've realized that is the number one negative aspect of this, whatever it is. Whatever I'm doing here, does anyone know what we're doing? I don't think so. But whatever it is, this is, for me personally, I just can't handle it. So I know I've said the same thing over and over for the last 30 minutes, and I'm not going to edit this in any way. I could probably just chop this whole last 45 minutes off, but I just want to, I just want to let people know where my brain's at, where we're going to be moving in the future. Again, I am doing a live show with 3 other people. Some of them you may know, most of them you may know, and I want that to be to work in some way, shape, or form. And just above it all cannot be that. I value this show. I think above it all is a good name. So I don't want I don't want to screw it up that much, you know. I think it's a good name. Above It All, it's pretty good. Throw the question mark in there, you know. It's pretty good, actually. It's a solid name. So, you know, it's a brand. Right? You know, and I want to have this to be more of like a, you know, less of the content. Gotta make content. Gotta upload my clips. Gotta make content. I don't want that anymore. I'm sorry if you like the clips. And just watching a full video, it just doesn't, I'm sorry. It's just, I can't do it anymore. Maybe I can in the future for some temporary periods of time. But anyway, I hope I've answered everybody's potential questions. And, you know, with my luck, I'm certainly just going to be opening Pandora's box to even more questions. But it's good that I'm going to announce that I'm not going to be reading those. No, I'm just kidding. I'll probably end up reading every comment like I always fucking do because I have a mental fucking illness. But anyway, I've had 2 cups of coffee. And I'm shaking because of the coffee, and I probably should drink some water because I might pass out and die any minute now. So thank you all for watching, and you know, just bear with me. I'm a little crazy. I recognize that. I understand that I'm a little crazy. That doesn't mean I'm wrong about certain subjects, but I'm definitely a little crazy. I recognize that. I'm antisocial. Not only am I asocial, which is, you know, could do without socializing. I'm antisocial. I just don't like it. It's not for me. Maybe in the future it can be for me at some point, but at this moment in time, during a pandemic where 90% of people in the world are just pretending like it's not real, I'm not going to socialize. I'm sorry. I don't go to conventions. I remember in 2021, when the vaccines were rolling out, I was planning on doing a convention, or, you know, not a convention per se, that's more grandiose, but a meetup of some kind. And I decided against it because it's too risky. I'm not doing that. I would like to. I think it would be an interesting thing to do, to have like a one-time in-person meetup with people that have followed me for an extended period of time. That would be cool. I would like to do that in the future. But unlike other YouTubers that you may know of, I'm not willing to kill you to accomplish some stupid fucking dream that I have. Like, oh, I want to feel important, and I want to have my audience be in the room with me so that they can tell me how cool I am, and in the process kill them with an airborne pandemic. I am not that narcissistic, thankfully. Other shows, there's a little bit of a disease in the brain, but hey, whatever. Boy, this went off the rails. But that's one of the fun parts about doing a pre-record, is I can just like follow the fucking rabbit hole and nothing's breaking my concentration. That's the other thing. Regardless of whether or not it's negative, positive, whatever, having a chat room it takes up brain power, and it can derail what's going on in here. So whether or not what's going on in here is good, that remains to be seen. Whether or not what's going on in here is worth like someone watching, the jury, there's a hung jury on that motherfucker. They got some rope and they hung some motherfuckers with that jury, okay? Or is it hanged? Right? That remains to be seen. We're in a beta phase, a transition phase for this format. If you stick around, I appreciate it. And you know, just let me do what I'm doing. And please, for the love of fuck, stop fucking asking me the same questions over and over and over again. That's my only request. Is just, you know, I'm not necessarily saying you shouldn't talk to me or feel like you shouldn't, you know, or whatever. I'm not asking for anything like that. Just like calm the fuck down, simmer the heat a little bit more, and I'm doing what I'm doing because it's the best for me. And maybe I am a little narcissistic, you know, like I value my mental health and physical health over, you know, people watching my show every day. And, you know, also a little bit of it is, honestly, I am afraid of parasocialism. And, you know, what is parasocialism? It's where people watch somebody online and they feel like they have a direct interpersonal connection with them that is one way. It is a parasocial relationship that I feel like is commonplace online. I had a lot of problems with this many years ago during the previously described gaming arcs of my streaming career. Parasocialism scares the shit out of me. I'm just gonna beg you, like, please, I am not your friend, okay? Just goes out to everybody. I would like to have positive interactions, and I'm open to making friends. But if you watch my show, I am not your friend. Please understand that. Most YouTubers, they like parasocialism because it entrenches an audience that's more willing to give people money, more willing to promote, more willing to stick around, more willing to show up every day. I personally cannot handle that. So, and I'm not trying to say that to be rude or to be mean, but like, this is something that I feel like has gone off the rails online in general. I had a very early exposure to this because I've been streaming since streaming was a thing. I started streaming in 2012. That's around when like live streaming even started being a thing online. I was like right on the ground floor of that. So I had an advanced, experience with parasocialism. And again, that combined with my relatively antisocial personality, I don't want people to mistake me for like a friend, and that's not to say that I want to have like a friend. To me, maybe my definition of the word friend is a little elevated compared to most other people. I am totally down to be extremely positive acquaintances with everyone that I'm totally down to have some conversations every once in a while, positive, whatever discussions, that's fine. But and you know who you are. There are, some people watch my stuff all the time, every show I post, and I'm not saying you shouldn't watch every show I post. I just want, I want there to be some amount of breathing room here. Because I feel like a lot of people online, I feel like the default nowadays is for every internet personality to have a parasocial chat room of people that are obsessed with them. And it's like, I watch Twitch streams sometimes. I watch other YouTube streams sometimes. And that's like almost every chat room is just like parasocial behavior. And honestly, it's a little icky. I'm not going to, and so I just want people to calm the fuck down a little bit. I want to create a buffer, a healthy buffer, not a negative buffer, not a I hate you all buffer. A lot of people are accusing me of hating everybody in my audience. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate anybody. And I certainly don't hate everybody. But I want to create a healthy buffer space for mutual respect to prosper, that is is as symmetrical as we can possibly get from a, artist. That's what I consider myself. I think content creator is corporate lingo. I think it's disgusting. I think it's just artist, but like with less respect in the term. So I consider all YouTubers artists. I don't like the word content creator or the phrase content creator. But I want to create a healthy mutual respect for people that enjoy art or my art in whatever way form, and me that is based on healthy and knowledgeable human dynamics and behaviors. Because again, the internet is a new thing. How many people, do you even know what parasocialism is? Do you even know that maybe you have been engaging in a parasocial kind of thing? I don't know. Do you know that? This is a concept not many people talk about. And because, again, most people in my kind of position benefit from it financially or, in some way. They benefit from it because it helps their careers. Like, could you imagine if I was getting like 500 viewers on Twitch or whatever playing Resident Evil 4? Imagine if I'm still playing Resident Evil 4 right now. Like, imagine I could have like fucking 40,000. If I just continued on that track with that exact mentality and fostered that exact environment, I could be rich and famous right now. And I chose not to be because that shit drove me fucking crazy. And I would choose my own mental sanity over whatever the fuck people are aspiring for on this platform, on internet platforms in general. I just feel like all social media, all, I guess independent artistry, it's not Netflix. You're not this is not a Netflix kind of situation. I am one person and I do a one-person program. And I'm starting a 4-person program, and we'll see how that goes. I'm hopeful. it's a different dynamic, and it leads to a different kind of thing. And I'm very, very afraid and skeptical of that whole thing. So, again, I think the whole experiment is off the rails. No one has ever really behaved in this fashion. Like, when has parasocialism really existed all throughout human history? Like, you might have like how would you even develop a parasocial relationship with like an artist you like? Like, you watch all of their interviews. Like, really, I mean, like, is it like you might really admire them? You might like think that like, oh wow, this person is so like I don't know, man. There's something about it. It's just different. There's just the way the internet is functioning. This is fucked. I mean, the whole thing is fucked. And I want to be someone that breaks that trend. I want to be someone that goes against the grain on that one. So yeah, that's one last thing. I think I'm just going to mercy kill this show now, because I could probably just keep talking about other stupid garbage. But I think I'm going to mercy kill this show. Quick, not so dirty, quick and clean. And so thank you for watching. And, I know that this was all over the place, and I only covered 2 news stories. And, but I think they're the most important news stories currently going on. The genocide in Gaza and the genocide worldwide during the COVID-19 pandemic. Genocide is happening everywhere. And most people are actually okay with it. There's a good contingent of people that are okay with the genocide in Gaza. There's an even greater, about 90% of the human population on this planet that's okay with the genocide of the disabled, the elderly, the sick, the poor with COVID-19, even leftists, even communists, and even self-proclaimed, I should say, because actions speak louder than words. If you say I'm a communist and then you go around like spreading a deadly disease that disproportionately kills black people, are you really a communist? Right? Actions speak louder than words. So if you say something and you do the opposite, I'm going to go with the actions. So self-proclaimed left-wingers are definitely okay with the COVID genocide that's going on. And I am a staunch positionist of genocide, not good. That is my official position. A blanket position that I don't think there ever has been a good genocide. Maybe if we could genocide cockroaches, actual cockroaches, those guys are gross. You ever been infested with cockroaches? I have had to deal with cockroaches at times in my life. Wow. So if there's any genocides going on, let's genocide actual cockroaches, because those guys are fucked. But outside of that, outside of the planned and proposed genocide of cockroaches, real cockroaches, I'm not using euphemistic language here. I'm talking about the bugs. I'm talking about the insects that fuck your shit up. I'm fine with killing all those guys. I don't know what ecological, disasters would befall us if the cockroach were to go extinct. But I say I'd rather the cockroach go extinct than whales or dolphins or elephants. So fuck the cockroach. Everyone else, though, genocide is bad, actually. And I'm going to maintain that position. I'm going to be consistent on that position. And if I ever waver from that position, you have a total right to fuck my shit up by, unsubscribing or calling me insane, whatever. But anyway, mercy kill. I'm going to press the button. Otherwise, I'll just keep being here. I just got to press the button.
It was like 15 9/11s. It was like 15. It was like 15 9/11s. 9/11s. Fifteen, 11s. was like 15 9/11s. It was like 15 9/11s.